Hello, my name is Alejandro Guayo. I'm part of the sales engineering team here at Litera, and today we're going to be talking about some of the options that we have available with Litera Pro. And with Litera One, it's using Microsoft Universal's app model, the Office 365 app. And as we can see here, we're able to see Word open with a document as well. In order to have access to Litera One, it's accessible from the Litera One for Word there at the top right. So as soon as I go ahead and click on Litera for Word, we're going to get a dialog here on the right-hand side. And one of the components that we have available within Litera Pro is the ability to have the Smart Q&A. Smart Q&A gives us the ability to ask any natural language questions about the document, and we can quickly make heads or tails of what's going on. So here I can ask, when is the closing taking place? What it's going to do, it's going to parse through our document and identify this information. So as we can see, the closing is scheduled to take place at 10 a.m. at the offices of Bader, Cook & Jackson. As we know with AI, we want to ensure that this information is accurate, it's not hallucinating, so on and so forth. What we can do is I can actually navigate to the source in which this information was pulled up from. So I can see and get clarification that this information is actually taking place at 10 a.m. at the offices of Bader, Cook & Jackson. Also, with the Smart Q&A, I wanted to mention that we also offer a guided experience. So we are able to understand the questions that we're asking and follow up with prompts there below that we can help guide the users as well. What are the conditions precedent to the obligation of GG parties? Where is the location specified in the document? So again, giving the end users the ability or that guidance to ask those follow-up questions that maybe we forgot to ask. As we can also see, we can identify the source and of course, navigate to that section. Another helpful option that's available within Litera Pro is the ability to do the review going forward. So the way that this works is we can highlight a term, and this is going to give us more of an understanding in which how this information is being used throughout their document. So here I highlighted the term collateral, but I can actually see where in the document this is being used. And I have the ability to go back or maybe search for additional content. Let's say I want to identify a bit more in terms of a definition for the term termination agreements. I can highlight it, click on review term, and I can see how it's defined and again, how it's being used throughout our document. Another thing that we can do within Litera Pro is the ability to proofread our document. So this is going to give us it's going to help identify inconsistencies within our document, such as defined term issues, if we want to identify any cross-references, any inconsistent phrases, or even for the litigation side of things, we can also identify any citation issues. The way that this works is we're able to understand the contents of the document and identify this information for us. For example, in the defined term issues, we're able to identify if an item has been used but not defined, or for the other side of the coin, if an item has been defined within our definitions list or definitions table, but we haven't used it in the body of the document, this is also going to let us know as defined, not used. If we do want to add a quick definition, let's say for the term closing date, I can add that definition within here and say shall mean XYZ, whatever it may be. But if you look here in the bottom right, there's also an option that's called define and insert, which will go ahead and put closing date, but also that definition that I've gone ahead and entered. In a few moments, not sure if you've noticed, but the pane will automatically refresh and update that information for us. So if I go ahead and identify parties, it's showing up as defined not used. I can remove that definition, and it's going to go ahead and remove it from our document, but also from the list on the right-hand side. Additionally, editing mistakes can help identify items that native Word doesn't identify. So as we can see, we have number discrepancies. I wrote 1 million, but what I have in the parentheses, it doesn't match. So the tool is able to give us that guidance and give us a recommendation. So if I bet 1 million, I can add a comma, the extra zero, I'm good to go. To take it a step further, I know this one's a little harder to see, but we can also identify any inconsistent punctuation. Here I have a combination of a curly and a straight quote. We go based off the common theme, so it looks like curly quotes is used more often. So I can click on conform and ensure that we have that same consistency throughout as well. Lastly, just to give you a high level here, we can also identify any language that we're not using consistently, and this goes based off the patterns that we use this information. So here I've used equipment leases and purchases 3 times, but the outlier is the /or. So I can jump into the document and ensure that we have that correct language throughout as well. Here I've used within 30 days of notice. However, I have 30 business days of notice. Again, identifying it, updating it within our document, and again, removing it off our list on the right-hand side. Additionally, we have some repair options that we can also apply to the entire document. So if we want to remove, if we copy and paste often and we conform font type or font size, that's an option. Maybe remove some highlighting, some drawings, or even empty paragraph marks if that's a need be. So that's going to be some of the repair options and drafting side of things within Litera 1. But I also wanted to take a step further. As we know with Litera 1, we also have comparison available in here. So I can use the current document that's open. I can also browse locally or select documents from iManage or OneDrive going forward. For the sake of example, I'm going to go ahead and select a Word and a PDF. But as soon as I go ahead and click on Compare, what we're going to see is 3 options that we have available. One, I'll be able to review the red line within the browser, which we'll see here in a few moments. But also, I can download that red line locally or save it back into iManage or OneDrive, depending on how it's configured. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and open the comparison within the browser. And then in a few moments, we're going to be able to see the red line. So I can scroll to review the changes. I can use the change list here on the left-hand side. And of course, if I click on an item, it can identify it for me. In regards to saving, we can save this as a red line in PDF or docx file format. I can save it as a track changes or even a change pages only if I need. However, I also wanted to mention that we also have the ability to summarize changes. So as we review comparisons today, we go line by line and identify the changes ourselves. I see that the definition of affiliate was removed. I see the cross-reference has been adjusted, so on and so forth. So the ability to summarize changes is going to give us more of a substantive understanding of the differences between that original and modified document. So in a few moments, we're going to be able to see what exactly has changed without me reviewing the document manually. Yes, that's still a workflow that we have available, but we can use this to our advantage to quickly identify those important items. In the financial term clause, the date of the loan and security agreement was updated to April 1st. A new clause specified in the sums of amount of the fiscal year was added. So again, this will give me more of that substantive understanding of the differences within this comparison. We do have the ability to copy the summarization or download it if we want to send it alongside this red line going forward. Lastly, the last workflow that's also going to be available within Litera Pro is we also have the ability to do comparisons from the browser. So I can navigate to one.litera.com. I can select files locally from my iManage instance or also from my OneDrive going forward. But one of the newer capabilities that we can also do in here is the ability to do comparisons in bulk. So in this case, I'm going to select 4 documents that I want to compare against their modified versions. As we know with Litera Compare Desktop today, I would need to do a comparison at a 1-by-1 basis. However, in here, I can do the comparisons bulk. I can rearrange the document order. I can also upload them 1 by 1. Once I go ahead and click on compare, as we're going to see here in a few moments, I'm going to be able to do a bulk compare of these files against their modified versions. And then once it completes, at the top right, I can save all of these red lines in bulk, either Word or PDF. Or maybe I want to take it a step further and review it within the browser. Maybe I want to get a quick summarization, or maybe I just want to see the changes for myself before it's saved. So at a 1,000-foot view, that's going to be Litera Pro. If there's any additional questions or would you like more information, please reach out to us at Litera and we'll be happy to help. Thank you.